Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
And we are live. Welcome to another week of the Right Now Writers Group. As you can see, I'm working in a coffee shop today. For those of you who are new, this is our weekly writers group, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, where we meet, chat, and we talk with other writers in the community about all the things that we love to write about, or maybe we just procrastinate together. How are you doing? What are you working on today? Or have you made some progress? We would love to hear. Drop a comment. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Kaufman, daily writing streamer, fantasy author, and dragon enthusiast. All of the above. What am I working on? Because what do I work on every other day but Scarecrow? So that's what I'm working on today. And as an FYI, we'll be going for about an hour today because that's the time that we got. So make sure to stick around. We're going to chat a little bit and then we'll hop into a longer writing sprint so we can make sure to get some progress done together. And I will kick it over to everyone's favorite Chat Soul.
Hey everyone, Chat Soul here. Working on a fan fiction tonight because I had to be an adult today, so I just kind of want to work on something fun. But yeah, no, I'm also working on Age of Ash as well, kind of in the background. And if I can actually get that one done, it might actually be looking at a late summer release next year at the earliest.
Well, that is absolutely cool. I know for anyone who missed out, the last story and critique show, we did an excerpt from the book, and especially seeing the cover was super, super fire. As we all know, being able to make progress with our stories and seeing like the cover come to life, that is such a vibe. It is definitely such a vibe. So definitely looking forward to seeing that. What is on everyone's mind tonight? I know we had some good writing vibes. Me and Soul were chatting up. Actually, something for therapy related, which I think is actually going to be powerful. But first, let me just say, Megan, good to see you, my friend. Marta, welcome, welcome, welcome. Lynn, always good to see you. Hope the writing is treating you well. You asked a good question, Lynn. You said, does anyone know why the YouTube chats are using the handles instead of the usernames we picked? YouTube changed it over a couple weeks ago. I think you have to go in and re-update it, I believe. I think YouTube's now using your channel username instead of the handle, I believe. But you can change it. You have to go in there and fix it. It's kind of annoying. I don't know why.
Gotta love when there's updates, right? Sometimes they change things we like, and then sometimes they don't.
Wah, wah. And then, by the way, when I'm talking, I'm in a coffee shop, so I'm on coffee shop edition today. So forgive me if there's loud echo on my. I'm trying to give you guys the real coffee shop experience. That's what I wanted to give you today.
Oh, you totally did this on purpose.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember I did a couple of coffee shop. I've done coffee shop sprints before, and I'll probably do more in the future whenever I'm traveling. I always think working in a coffee shop is bad, but then like you always have to have like be wary of like the setup of like, all right, if I'm going to be talking for an hour, who am I around? What is the setup? Is the internet reliable, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Oh man, but. We were chatting about some writing techniques, Soul, and I know you said you had gotten a good writing technique that you had heard of. Did you want to share it?
Yeah. Okay. So anyone who's been watching the Wednesday night chats, I've been working on a therapy work for quite a while now. I think since about like the midsummer or something, and that was basically putting a character through very similar beats, as close as what I actually went through as possible. Even if the exact event wasn't what I went through, it was more the emotions behind it, and that has actually kind of helped me work through quite a bit, actually. But my therapist actually gave me an idea for something that's coming up this next week that I'm not looking forward to. And she told me, write your character, because she knows about my writing. She's like, take your character, put them in this same exact situation. Don't just do don't just do what I did with my therapy work, where it's the same basic emotions. No, literally have my character go through the same exact thing that I'm doing that I'm going to be doing on Tuesday, and write out how you think it's going to go and how you want it to go. And so far, I haven't actually been able to finish it, unfortunately, mainly because, well, I've had, the novel November thing I was working on for Age of Ash, and having to be an adult at least some of the time. But I actually did get part. I cannot speak today. I apologize. But I did get part of the way through of it, and even just what I did do actually really did seem to help. I'm not going to say what I'm doing Tuesday, but it is related to getting stuck with a needle. And I have PTSD with needle phobia, and it is hell when it comes to medical things. So I've actually taken my character and put them in that situation alongside someone they actually trust, because that's going to be in the situation I'm in, is going to have to get stuck with a needle, but my partner is going to be there. And seeing Soren go through that actually did make me feel a little better. It wasn't just the fact they were going through something similar. No, the fact that they were going through the same exact thing really did seem to help a little bit. Especially because the other character, I try to write fanfiction when in fanfiction, I try to write my characters as close to their canon selves as possible. Even then, I was able to write the other character in such a way that I think he actually might talk like that, and it was actually very helpful for me.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful technique, especially for those of us. I mean, anybody who has this really strange condition, and you guys have probably all experienced it. It's this really strange condition called the human experience. Um, and I think when you probably dealt with things like depression, anxiety, different mental health issues or obstacles in your life, I think as a writer, it's really interesting to ask myself, if there's something that I struggle with dealing with, how would one of my characters out of my books, how would one of my characters be able to overcome the challenge? Maybe they would be able to do it way better. Maybe they would fail miserably. Like if there was something that I was really struggling with, I would ask myself what would Scarecrow do? Yeah, I know that's probably not a good one. That Scarecrow probably wouldn't. But if I wanted to be entertained, I'd be like, all right, what would Mr. Crow do? I think then I'd be very entertained. He'd probably peck somebody's eye out.
But there's a difference of entertaining though and trying to help yourself. Because, and I'm saying this not just from my therapy, not just from my therapy work experience, but from writing Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Burning Ember actually has a panic attack in it. That was fairly close to one of my worst ones I've ever had.
Wow.
And
the character has to obviously persevere through it.
Having to write Kasai going through that was painful, because I'm the kind of writer where I like to immerse myself in my characters as I'm writing them, in order to make sure that I'm writing them as accurately as possible. Trying to write somebody going through a severe panic attack, it was not triggering for me, but if I were in a worse headspace, it would have been. But I've improved my mental health enough that I was able to do that. And that is actually one thing I'm going to say real quick too, is if you ever do anything like that in your writing, either therapy work or just you have a character going through that experience, do not write it unless you really believe that you can handle that. Especially if you're the kind of writer that actually tries to imagine what your characters are going through. Because, well, you don't want to accidentally trigger yourself.
Yeah, so this is actually something really powerful. So I know there's a lot of writers out there who will write to explore and understand their trauma and the things that they've gone through. And once again, not a mental health specialist, not advice, but from what I've seen with the workplace training that I've had before in management, is that you have to know yourself well enough of when you're ready to unpack and go through certain traumas. I think journaling can be very, very powerful. Journaling
Yep.
can absolutely be a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
But if you're journaling about a trauma that you're not ready to deal with yet, you're putting yourself in a place where you're potentially going to get worse, right? Unless you're going to therapy or unless you have some type of system in place. So
Yeah.
I think being able to know the right place and right time for you to be able to deal with those things can be really powerful. Even maybe if it's in small increments as well.
Even minor things that I put my characters through, if I were not in the good headspace, I really shouldn't have written some of their stuff. But everything I've done for my characters, even some of the worst stuff, I don't write it unless I know I can handle it. And that's because, well, I am definitely an advocate for get a therapist, get some help, and make sure to actually, use your brain correctly.
I like your guys' comments when you said I absolutely put my characters through my anxiety and our ADHD and also my work trauma. But it's a running joke with my friends that all my characters have work trauma. It's kind of funny, Marty. You're like my DHD too. I'm like, dang, what do my characters have? It's hard because I didn't write Scarecrow with the intention to be a reflection of myself, but of course our characters will always be a reflection of ourselves.
Sometimes they're not exact reflections, but they're fragments of reflections.
Probably fragments. I mean, I think the values that Scarecrow does embody of myself is probably kindness. There's probably that kindness aspect, but I very much push him to his limits and ask, how do you be kind in a world where basically everything tries to kill you?
Mm-hmm.
So I really do challenge that thematically. I think is an interesting test. Can kindness exist in a world where survival of the fittest?
That'd be interesting. I have to admit to try to write that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never explored that myself. I've never explored that myself, but that would be an interesting concept.
Thinking of themes, I was watching a video on themes. So whatever your current work in progress is, or unless this is your favorite thing, what theme are you currently working on in your book, or do you have a set of themes that you tend to work on with your novels? I would love to hear. Drop a comment. What themes do you like to write about?
I know I typically like to write coming of age stories, and sometimes I mean that literally, as in the character has to grow up. And sometimes I mean that more in a metaphorical sense of they have to face whatever they're dealing with and grow past it. But I usually go with coming of age, dealing with trauma, and I've noticed a theme with some of my recent works is characters being pushed into situations they did not intend to be in. I actually have a fanfiction series that I'm actually trying to write called "Hands That Decide." Every single story in the entire series, which let me think, I think there's 5 actually planned for the series. Every single character, their choices are not their own. Other people make their choices. These characters just end up having to go along with it because, well, whenever these choices come about, they're never in a position to actually fight back. The Price of Choice is probably my best one so far, at least the one that's the most completed, because I'm still doing the rewrite of that. That's technically the first one in the series. Osa, he didn't ask to be abandoned. He did not ask to be a Marine. He didn't even ask to be in Cypherpol, kind of a secret agent organization. he was literally put into those situations by not by his own violation, but because of others. His parents were among those that thought devil fruits were just demons or like demon possession. Garp just thought, hey, this kid has a devil fruit that's going to be powerful. Let's just make him a Marine. Cypherpole's like, you've got the skills. We're going to use you. The first time Osa ever made a choice, it was to ask for a very drastic thing that it was not something he should have asked for, and he didn't get it, thankfully. But it technically was his first choice. My next character, Civ, is going through the same thing. He gets thrust into a situation that is completely out of his hands and ends up being forced into the Marines because of it. And by the time he actually gets to make his own actual choice, he's wasted like his entire life because of this. And it's not because he wanted it, but he's trapped behind a deal, basically. Where it's like, you either do this or you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. I'm sorry, you can't just offer that and expect somebody to choose the jail. But all the characters I have are going through something like that.
Yeah, it's always really interesting. I think when I was coming up with plotting my characters and like the overall, what is like the overall theme of Scarecrow? When somebody finishes reading the first book, what is they could walk away with one theme, what would I want them to walk away with? And I think because the world explores memory to such an extent, I think it's the importance of those you have around you in remembering what's important to you. I think memories is a very vital theme in Scarecrow. Consequence. I deal with consequence very harshly. How do consequences affect the world? Having hope in a world that feels hopeless.
Those are some really good themes.
And then I try to embody each of the themes through the characters and the supporting characters. So then the supporting characters are their actions are generally exploring one of the themes or one of the supporting things. So it's interesting.
I've kind of done that with my characters too. Is they even if they like don't help, they at least, okay, I shouldn't say that. Even if it's not positive, they do help reinforce the theme that whatever my character is going through.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always have to be positive, but because sometimes it could be a contrast, right? So it's sometimes we have the characters or the antagonist, right, who do the opposite, and by them doing the opposite thing, that is showing the other side of the argument for the theme and its importance.
Yep.
By the way, Lynn, that's a good one. I tend to work towards people can be redeemed and find love. I mean, that's a very powerful, deep one because most people want to be redeemed of their the things they feel guilty about, and everybody wants to be loved. Yeah. So I think that's a good universal one right there.
And that one, it can be explored in so many different kinds of ways too.
Mm-hmm. Francisco, what's the joke? Why don't writers win at poker? I want to know the answer to this one. Because they can't write. No, I have no clue. I'm not good at jokes.
Me neither.
Emily, that's a great goal, though. Like, my goal is to try to go to the midpoint of the chapter. I am on chapter 5, by the way. Sounds like you're making some good progress. They always show their tells.
Okay, I have to admit, that's clever.
Francisco, that's a good one. That's clever. For anyone who missed it, why don't writers win at poker? Because they always show their tells. I know we need some more like writing-based jokes. Maybe I'm behind on. It's been a while since I've updated the Discord. I have like a list of channels I want to add. But maybe I'll add a writing joke channel. I know the meme channel. The meme channel's pretty popular. Yeah, everyone loves meme channel. Maybe a writing joke one. I keep being hesitant about doing a quote channel. So I'm worried that if I do a quote channel, then people will just copy paste dumb shit that Kaufman says. I'm like, all right, here's a channel to come up with really cool quotes that inspire you. Not just going to be dumb things I say on the live stream. One of these days.
Eventually.
Oh man. Well, let's see. So great conversation so far. Like I said, because we're only going an hour, we want to make sure to get some time for writing. So we're gonna hop into a writing sprint and let's push. Let's try to get a little closer to our goals this week because I believe in us. I believe in us to be able to get some writing progress. Let's see, Cav. You said, my rule of thumb for writing is that I want to give the reader or viewer of my work some sort of experience. If that piece of writing can't do it for them, then I cut it. Hey, that's a good rule of thumb. I think that's a good rule of thumb, right? Because you want your reader to feel something. If they don't feel something, they'll stop reading.
Yeah.
Are we paranoid now, Kauf? Not at all. Kaufman's never paranoid. I'm an angel. Okay. I was like, there's like a red light somewhere. It's because I'm next to a street. I'm not used to working in a coffee shop. Okay. So, like I said, what we're going to do is let's hop into a writing sprint. Let's try to push. Let's try to make a little bit of progress. And before we do, quick call out. Once again, we are back with the WriteNow A Thon later this month. So if you haven't signed up yet to host an activity, to host a spot, we got about a week and a half left of signups and submissions. The WriteNow A Thon is going to be our epic end of year writing celebration. Whether you want to host a panel, a workshop, a writing sprint, a writing game, or if you just want to be involved, make sure to come join us, come sign up right now. Maybe you don't know what you want to do, sign up anyway, so that way you can reserve a spot. All the information is linked down in the YouTube description down below. This is going to be an epic, non-stop live stream for us to come together and celebrate the writing process, all of the writing achievements we made this past year, our writing community, and for us to just have fun. So, sign up. Come join us for the WriteNow A Thon. Last weekend of December, which is the 26th through the 28th. All right. And good one. Do that call out. Nice. Great. Yeah, it looks like we all have some goals. I don't even know what my goal is. Well, I mean, actually, my goal is keep making progress with Scarecrow. Okay. So I'm working on the third draft, Act 2. That's what I'm going to do. My goal is to get through a chapter. Let's see just what we can do. And so with the timing, let's go 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes.
All right, then we'll do 30 minutes.
All right. And I think we are all ready. So whether you are writing, editing, revising, brainstorming, or maybe you're just procrastinating, come join us because it's time to write now. All right, my friends, and that is a writing sprint. How did you do? Were you able to get some words in, some ideas, or maybe you procrastinated a little bit? Let us know. Drop a comment. What progress did you make? How did it go? It's interesting. My computer was lagging, being in probably in a public workspace, but I was able to kind of push through. I'm going through this chapter, and I have a lot of extra downtime. I'm realizing in this one chapter I'm revising. I don't actually know if it's necessary. I probably just need to get to the next action beat. So, or maybe I'm just excited to get to Pebble's introduction. Nice, Megan. 328 words. Rachel already got the submission form in, so it's official. Yeah, for anybody who's needs help with their story blurb, I know Rachel's going to be doing hosting a blurb activity and helping writers with developing and editing their story blurb. So I should highly recommend go into our Discord and go respond to Rachel's post. Rachel's really good with the blurbs, by the way. And authors, as we know, if somebody likes your cover and the cover's awesome, then they're going to go check out the blurb. And if your blurb sucks, they're not going to read the book, even if you spent years and years working on it. So your blurb, so important. So important.
Blurb's usually the second thing they see, and we should not judge books by their cover, but we need to stop saying that.
My mom said that. I'm like, oh, actually, most people do judge a book by its cover. That's why the covers need to look professional. So were you able to make any progress that time?
Yeah, got about 700 words and going through kind of a cute moment. So it was easy to write. And you're muted.
Nice. I know. I'm tired. Yay. Progress. All progress is good progress. That Lynn would know. Lynn, you've sold a bunch of books. Expert over here. Cover, title, and blurb are what sell a book. Completely agree. I like to think of the cover, title, and blurb as the marketing. It's a piece of marketing to get people to read the story itself. Completely agree. Francisco, author reputation too, of course, once you get to a certain degree with your reputation. But it's also when you build enough of a readership, then people trust that when you put out a book, it's going to be a good book because you've done enough to prove yourself. One thing people don't like to waste is time.
Ain't that the truth?
Chancing a new book is a risk on time. The one thing people don't like is buying a book, reading the first page, the first chapter, and it sucks.
I've picked up a couple books like that, and it's disappointing because it usually sounds pretty good, and then I read the first page, and it's just like, what?
Right, it's funny. One of the biggest lies told, not judging books by the covers, but maybe it was from a time when there were fewer books with the cover art. I was like, readers absolutely judge books by covers because there's so many options. There's 1,000 books. You're going to choose the ones with the covers that captivate you based on what type of book you want to read. But I feel like we were able to make some good progress today, my friends. We had some great conversations. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a good writers group. And yeah, thank you for joining me on Writers Group Night Coffee Shop Edition. Hopefully you're able to make a little progress. It's always a pleasure seeing and chatting with all of you here in the community. I will be back tomorrow for another daily writing sprint. I know my writing sprints have kind of been all over the place, so we'll see how we go. Francisco, you could absolutely get away with using a Canva to make a cover. I know a lot of writers do. I think it's less about what tool you use, and it's more about have you done the research for your genre, standards, trends, and whatever. If you take your cover art and you go put it up, go to Barnes & Noble or go to a local bookstore, go to Amazon, top bestsellers, would people think that your cover is professionally done? I mean, that's the
This
way.
was made on Canva.
Cool cover.
But yes, well, I mean, the actual like designs and stuff I got like elsewhere, but everything was put together on Canva, including the back. So yeah, no, Canva can totally be used for making covers.
Yeah, and Lynn has a good point. Just be careful not to use licensed pictures on Canva.
Yes.
Right. Very, very important. You don't want to use copyrighted material, sell books, and then get into some type of lawsuit. So, yeah, nice, Francisco. Yeah, absolutely. Post on the Discord. There's a cover art. There's a cover art channel there that everyone will share their covers in. It's a good channel for sharing ideas. I think Soul, have you shared yours in there yet?
Not in the cover art channel, but I need to. I was actually, well, actually no, I was going to, but then I decided to wait until I get the final cover done and do my reveal there.
Yeah, I think I put my cover in the wrong channel. Like, oh, Kaufman. Like I create the channels and then I need to use them the right way. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thanks all for joining us today. I'll be back at some point tomorrow and many more writing sprints this week. Let's make some progress towards the end of the year. We got less than 30 days and we are going to finish that next goal by the end of December. All right, my friends, that's all that I got for you. If you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. And that's all. All right, I'm Kaufman,
Chat Soul.
and we'll catch you on the next stream. Take care, friends.
Stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write.
Right now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now. Is that right?
Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman.